Hey guys, what is up? OJ here, and welcome to the Insane Mode Guide, where you will be learning everything that you need to know about Insane Mode and how to effectively go through each level in this 10-part series. In this part though, you will be learning about the basics of Insane Mode, as well as going over what you need to know before entering it, so you can be fully prepared. VMotions will also be collaborating with me in the guide, and don't forget to check his channel out. But anyway, without further ado, let's get into it. There are two ways on how you can actually unlock Insane Mode. The first should be very obvious, which is fully completing all the levels in normal mode. This method is good for those that like getting the full hands-on experience of Castle Crashers, and is really for those that have a lot of spare time. On the other hand, the other method that I bet you didn't know about is level skipping. Now, I know what you might be thinking, but let me explain. Some levels can be bypassed while a player is in a cooperative game with another player who has already completed that level. So basically, if you get in an online game with someone who has already beaten a level that you haven't yet already, then it'll be unlocked for you and all other party members. So take this scenario for example. User 1 is starting a brand new character and hasn't beaten any levels, while the other player has. So all of the levels will be unlocked for user 1 because the other player has completed every level. The same would go for if user 1 hasn't beat the level Castle Keep, but the other player has. So it'll also be unlocked for user 1. I hope that makes sense. With this being said, there are mandatory levels from which you need to complete. This is why it would be helpful to play with someone who's beaten all the levels, and if you are, then here are the mandatory levels that you need to fully complete. After you've completed all the levels previously mentioned, you must quit to the main menu, start the game again, and defeat the final boss a second time to unlock a skull and/or character. By using this technique, you'll only play 16 of the 36 levels, which equates to 44% of the game, meaning that the rest, which is 56%, is just filler.
There are two main strategies that you could use for Insane Mode. First, we have arrow spamming. Well, yeah, arrow spamming is not the really most efficient way to kill enemies and bosses in Insane Mode, so we won't be focusing on this method either, as it's very slow and can get really tedious and boring. The actual focus for this guide will solely be centered around melee comboing, because this is the most effective all around for standard enemies and bosses, and it's way better than arrow spamming. Comboing with full strength does more damage per hit than arrow spamming, and it allows you to hit the same enemy more often as well as hitting multiple enemies at once. However, the downside of comboing is that it will put you in the thick of battle and result you being hit more often. However, this depends on how experienced you are though. Another part about comboing that you will need to know is that there are certain combos that you will need to learn, such as the lightweight juggle. The middleweight juggle, the heavyweight juggle. The lightweight Beefy juggle. And the lightweight juggle over the Beefies. We have separate videos that cover these combos and the links will be in the description, so be sure to check those out. The reason why it's so important to learn how to do these combos is so you will know how to effectively deal with the different enemy types you will encounter. And trust us, it will be way better than spamming the level 50 drill combo or using any other ground combo. Also, it's okay if you can't juggle at first, everyone goes through that. It requires muscle memory and practice, but I'm sure you can do it though, it'll just be hard at first.
Most enemies' health on insane mode is multiplied by 10. So for example, enemies with 50 health normally will have 500, enemies with 350 health will have 3500, and etc. On top of that, most enemies' damage is also multiplied by 10. So enemies that deal 4 damage normally will deal 40. Enemies that deal 35 damage normally will deal 350, and etc. The only two exceptions to this rule would be the Painter, who has 3000 health in normal mode, but has 15,000 health in insane mode, and even the Corn Boss, who has 4100 health on normal mode, but has 20,500 health in insane mode. This is why it would be best to focus on putting your upgrade points towards defense and strength early on to max them out, so killing enemies will not be as tedious, along with being able to take a few hits.
Character roles are so important as they let you determine the movement of enemies. There are 3 main roles: the lead character, the assist characters, and the neutral characters. There is only one lead character. The lead character is the first enemy to spawn, and this character will chase you no matter where you are on the screen. There are always 2 assist characters. They are the second and third enemies to spawn. The assist characters will stay on both sides of you. They will also shoot projectiles at you every now and then. These characters are not too much of a threat because they will attack you most of the time when you go near them. Neutral characters will run in zigzags no matter where you are. No matter what, and they are the rest of the enemies on screen that are not the lead character nor the assist characters. If the lead character is killed, the next enemy in line is the lead character. For example, in the Necromancer fight on the first wave, spawns in order are Barbarian, Thief, Bear, Conehead, Fire Demon, Fencer, and Ninja. Barbarian is the lead character in this case. Once he gets killed, Thief is the lead character and Conehead becomes a new assist character because Conehead is the third enemy to spawn of all enemies alive on the screen. You're probably wondering why Beefies grab you out of midair sometimes. That's because you make them flinch. If you attack the Beefy with ranged attacks or air attacks, you can make the Beefy flinch and the Beefy can grab you out of midair, regardless of what height you are in. It's important to note that you cannot unflinch a Beefy. The only way to unflinch a Beefy is by letting it grab you and throw you. So you should not make a Beefy flinch unless you're trying to go for the kill. In the Necromancer boss fight, the enemies can throw bombs at the Beefies, making them flinch. So not all the time is it your fault in the Necromancer fight, nor in any other situation.
Insane mode is always done best with friends, and just because you have beats in the game doesn't mean you or your circle of knights are anywhere near ready to handle the grueling challenge about to be faced. Nevertheless, insane mode is fun, and a little bit easier when playing with friends. Just keep in mind though that the amount of enemies will increase for each player that is in the game, as well as all of the boss's health. If you are playing alone though, don't worry, this guide will have you not worry about a thing. Since insane mode is more challenging than normal mode, you'll have to take what level you're at in consideration. Being at level 99 is recommended because you will have max neutral damage and health, which increases every time you level up. And since all of your upgrade stat bars will be full, it'll help you out as you progress throughout the game and face tougher enemies. The fastest way to get to level 99 manually is by farming the Troll Mother in insane mode, as it is a boss in a Thieves Forest level. The reason why is because if you know how to perform combos, then you can easily do the lightweight juggle on the little troll minions. And as they continuously stack up, you will gain a lot of XP, and you will get even more if you have the Giraffe pet with you. Also, if you are just starting out a character and plan on using this method, make sure you don't upgrade your strength at all, as it will allow for more hits on our troll minions, which will provide you with even more XP. The only downside to this though is that you have to be in insane mode, so it's really up to you. A link will be in the description to a video of this if you would like further details. Alternatively, if you want to sit back, relax, and let the work be done for you, then I recommend using the AFK XP glitch in Thieves Forest, which is basically you getting to a part of the level with the river, killing all but one thief, light attacking it, then stomping it. After that, if you have Hawkster as your pet, he will non-stop peck at the enemy, which will provide you with an unlimited amount of XP. A link will be in the description for this as well, so make sure to check that out. If you feel like these methods are too cheaty and would really like to experience insane mode, then the best level to start would be level 40. The reason why level 40 would be the best level to start insane mode is because if you lack a full defense bar, your other stats should be high enough to compensate for that weakness. It also means that by the time you reach the end of the Castle Crashers map, your character should be well into the 60s or 70s of levels by then.
It is important to be very selective of the weapon you are bringing to insane mode. Often it will make the difference between life and death. Choosing a weapon to aid one of your weaker stats is good, but one that will keep you alive is even better. The more damage you do, the greater chance you have of surviving, although it is important to remember what type of enemy you will be fighting in each level and adapt accordingly. We will be doing this for all the levels, so watch out for that. Nevertheless, here are a few weapons I generally recommend using for the remastered versions. Gold Skull Mace, Mancatcher, Ninja Claw, NG Gold Sword, Dual Prong Sword, Chainsaw, and Demon Sword. The Gold Skull Mace is good because its strength output is the highest in the game, and the Gold Skull Mace has a 3% crit chance. The Mancatcher is also a good weapon because it gives you high damage output with a defense bonus. The Ninja Claw has good stats with a poison effect, and it's also a top tier weapon. The NG Gold Sword is actually insane. If you use Snoot or Beholder with it, you will dominate. I personally prefer the Dual Prong Sword over the Mancatcher because I feel like 3 defense does a lot more than 2 defense, but that's just preference. The Chainsaw is actually insane. It has a 5% critical hit chance, but I still think it's worse compared to the Gold Skull Mace because defense doesn't go with crit that well, in my opinion. And the Demon Sword is really good for an endgame weapon. The stats on it are insane. You get +2 strength, +2 magic, and also +2 agility with a fire chance, and I do think it's an underrated weapon. For original versions, you should use Bear Club, Snaky Mace, Dual Prong Sword, Chainsaw, and Black Morningstar. The Bear Club is the best weapon in non-remastered versions. Use Snoot with it and you got the best setup in Castle Crashers. The Snaky Mace is just slightly worse than the Bear Club, but if you use Piggy, this setup will work really good for most levels. Not to mention, the looks on the Snaky Mace is really good compared to the remastered version. The Dual Prong Sword is the same stats as the remastered version, and that's also the same exclamation as the remastered version. The Chainsaw is also a viable option for insane mode on the original version. And finally, the Black Morningstar in the original version used to be the go-to setup for insane mode. Here's some pets I recommend using for Castle Crashers insane mode. The first one is Snoot. Spidey, Piggy, and Hawkster. Snoot gives you +4 strength. Spidey gives you +4 defense. Piggy will make food give you a lot of health. And Hawkster will almost every time guarantee you food drops from enemies. A bonus with Hawkster is that you can use the AFK XP glitch in the Thieves Forest level, but there will be a link to that video in the description. For the original versions, Burly Bear, Piggy, and Hawkster. Burly Bear is one of the best pets for original. If you're looking for a strength pet, Burly Bear is the best option. Piggy and Hawkster have the same explanation as the remastered versions, so there's no need to go over them again. It is important to use high tier equipment as it will benefit your stats by a lot and improve your insane mode experience.
Congrats! You have made it to the end of part 1 of the Castle Crashers Insane Guide. With all of these topics covered, you should have a general idea of how to prepare for Insane Mode, as well as the things that you need to know. So with that being said, that'll be it, and we'll see you in the next part. Oh yeah.